is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And you see who I'm with. My guy right over here in steamy South Carolina, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
Oh, man, how's it going? I missed you last week. I'm sorry I had to work late. You know, we got a big week here with free agency. We got March Madness starting tomorrow. I mean, it's a glorious sports week. St. Patrick's Day celebrations will be this weekend. Once were a big thing. We're not for me that much anymore.
Yeah. Kat was like, oh, you know, we might do something here. We might do something there. I was like, I'm not even wearing green anymore. I mean, it is what it is. Like, but that's your family though.
It right? is. Yeah.
All Irish.
Oh yeah. We'll be having corned beef and cabbage and all that stuff. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, we'll be eating well.
Love it.
Uh-huh.
Yo, and hey, ladies and gentlemen, yes, he alluded to it. It is March. And it is March Madness. For some, though, it's March Sadness. However, there was a lot of people that thought that I was going to go in hiding and I wasn't going to wear my stuff. I want you guys to see that the Tar Heel is still on. However, I got to take it off, man. We didn't even show up for the NIT. I got to take this thing off. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't go far from the team. Wait, there it is. Let's go.
What is that? Oh, you got your Sam Howell jersey on.
Let's go. I don't go too far from it. Tar Heel Nation, we're still here. You know it. What is going on? First, what's going on, Johnny? Saying sub Sean. Hey, how is it going, guys? We are Washington Football Weekly on this Wednesday. We appreciate you joining us here. The offseason is in full effect, Will. I mean, moves have been going left and right. Nobody is safe. Even Zeke got the axe, and he got released, and they franchise tagged Tony Pollard. It's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But, Will, there's only one thing we've been talking about. It's one thing that we talked about most of last show. It's one thing we have been talking about as it's becoming the big move.
Yeah.
We franchise tagged him a week ago. Now we signed him to a 4-year, $90 million extension. I'm happy about this, Will. I am super ecstatic about this. Now we got our two big men in the middle locked down for a considerable amount of time. We paid them good money, and this is the kind of money I wanted to give to him. We're set. We're good. What do you think about this, man?
Well, I was shocked to find out about it. I was shocked because all we talked about and all we've heard from, some of the reporters that we trust is like, Dantzler's not going to spend any money. He's not going to put money down. And then we come to find out that the way the league the finances work, where it's not on the Dantzler right now. They've already done the review, and then whatever long-term contracts happen are on someone else's. So the next owner would be paying for this. So that made a little bit more sense, but it was great because of a couple things. From a financial standpoint, it was great because it reduced his cap hit by $8 million that we just flipped into a certain somebody else we're going to get to in a little bit. But even more important, it was great because it shows that the team is going to commit to the players that they draft and develop. And you said it. The two best defensive players are locked up on the team, and our best position is going to stay solidified. And I love that video that they showed. Ron was there. His line coach Zganina was there. Jack Del Rio was there. Like the coaches were there to give him, to congratulate him and be happy that he's around. So that was a warm, fuzzy feeling that is good for the team. That's the PR that the team needs. So this has been a good week so far.
Oh, absolutely. Certain parts have been good. People in the comment are already commenting towards the part that are not good. But no, this absolutely is. And it's like we said, like we mentioned last week, the timing. We went there early and we franchise tagged him early. And then we went right away and we took care of this deal. I love that, man. You talked about if we were going to spend this, this offseason. Well, there we go. We are doing, but we're spending for somebody that we know can play. We know he works really well with Jonathan Allen. And then you still got Fedarius Mathis behind him. You still got Ridgeway. You still got some of these other guys that are trying to prove themselves. I love that we just solidified the middle of that D line, and because that's been what we've been able to rely on these last couple of years.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Absolutely.
All for it. Absolutely love it. I love that we rewarded him. Like you said, it's a good culture. We rewarded him for his good play. He did what he was supposed to do. But what I love most about it is that the book has been out on what happens once we franchise tag a guy. Kirk Cousins, we did to him twice, and then signed Alex Smith without even really informing him. Then obviously the sheriff thing, the Brandon Sheriff, we franchise tagged him, and then he moved on. He didn't even want to do another one. He didn't even want to sign with us. So this is good about our team when a top quality player that a lot of teams were after said, yes, I'm going to make this choice. I'm going to stick with you guys. I really believe in what we got going on here. So, hey, dark days, good things are coming, man. I believe in this.
Yeah, you've always been team long-term deal here. So I'm not surprised that you're all rainbows and sunshine right now.
Oh,
I'm still a little bit like, well, what are we going to do next year with Chase Young and Montez Sweat, and how are we going to afford everybody here? So I'm a little bit like, ugh. But like you said, it makes us it strength. It keeps the strength of our team together right now.
Yep.
That they're going to need to be relying on with what we got on offense and everything like that. So we are a better football team with him than we are without him, without a doubt.
Right. So and yeah, this lets him know, and it lets the rest of the league know we mean business. And look, we know what the NFC East was this past year. We got to keep pace, and so let's keep the heart of that bend but don't break defense. And this was not the only move that we made. This wasn't the only move. And Will, I got to say, when we franchise tagged him, you and I had a discussion like, okay, is this going to be the one move we make? Are we going to potentially even, sign him? Which I was surprised too, to be honest with you. I'm very happy that it happened, but I didn't see this thing happening the week after we franchise tagged him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but we for sure thought that was it. Let's re-sign all the guys we have. And we didn't, I mean, with this new owner, potentially coming in and everything around that, it just wasn't in the cards in our opinion that we were going to not only sign him, but also sign other guys. And we made some moves. We had issues with the Oline. So we get Nick Gates, a center from the Giants. We get Wiley, who's worked well with Eric
the enemy.
With the Chiefs. Sorry, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah. Those are two solid moves. And now we also thought Norwell and Trey Turner were pretty decent, and that didn't
Right.
pan out. So I will definitely temper my expectations, but still, I mean, that's a position that we need. O-line, we got somebody in Nick Gates that is a center, but he's bigger. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He's that swing tackle, somebody that we needed. And then you got Wiley. And the thing about Wiley that I really like is the familiarity with Eric Bieniemy. You know what I mean? We've seen everything that Ron Rivera does, where he gets his Panthers and guys that he knows. Now Bieniemy's in here, and that's what it's looking like he's doing. He had talks with Chad Henne. He got Wiley over here. I like that because they know how he coaches. They know how he calls plays, and it's going to benefit us. So these are two good moves, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on just these two alone?
Yeah. So I was surprised at the timing of the moves, but I wasn't surprised at what we were doing. This is very similar to last year, where we said we weren't going to break the bank early on. We were going to sign some reasonable contracts. And they said that leading up to it, that they were going to do fair market deals. I just didn't think we would be signing them on Monday by like 3:00 in the afternoon announcing this stuff.
Right.
Because like Andrew Norwell took some time, Trey Turner took some time, that the bigger signings generally come out, the earliest, but we were all in on it. It's just like you said, this kind of is in that same mode of we're not signing the most expensive guys, but hopefully we're signing guys that there's some position flexibility that they like and that can fit with the system. I think the one I'm most excited about is Andrew Wiley because of the fact that he's coming from Kansas City. He's coming from the system that Bieniemy knows, but more importantly, Bieniemy knows him, and he knows what he can and can't do at tackle,
yep.
and be able to just what plays does he excel on? What plays does he struggle on? So he'll know, if we're going to be running a certain play, if I need to have that tackle or the tight end over to help chip, or if I need to have quick throws because of certain pass rushers, because, Wiley struggled against the likes of Von Miller and stuff, but Bieniemy found ways to get around it. And so that's important. Your players. Nick Gates was a little bit of a surprise to me because he was coming off an injury. He didn't play that much last year. He's the guy who had the really bad broken leg against us with the Giants in the Taylor Heinicke first start of 2021 season. And so he's been working his way back there. And it's kind of funny when they showed some highlights, one of the guys I follow, they were showing Jonathan Allen just torching him up in New York. So I'm like, well, this isn't good. We're showing guys, guys on our team. But they said he's going to be a center. And so, the biggest problem we've had at center is stability. And he's got a little bit of an injury history. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but it looks like we're going to be able to get cheaper at center. So I thought that was a good start. Overall, like you said, 2 new offensive linemen starting, sliding Sam Cosmi now over to guard. So we've got 1 hole to fill on the offensive line, whether that's be through free agency or the draft. Now we've got a little bit more of the line solidified to know that on paper it's going to be better going into next season.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then look, and I'm going to use one of your favorite phrases over the years, position flex. You know what I mean? That's what I like about Gates is that he can go from center to guard to tackle. You know what I mean? And he can go in each of these positions. He has a size and, kind of the arm length to kind of deal with some of these defenders. But like you said, now we got, Cosmi is going to be at a guard. We got Wiley at tackle. I mean, this was really kind of setting up for something nice. Now, there was something that I was a little nervous about because one of the things that I heard, and I know you listened to John Kine when he interviewed Logan Paulson. One of the things that when you mentioned how Bieniemy really works the offense, to maximize how his good points and minimize, his errors by putting the tight end or somebody to help with that. They also ran a lot of RPO. They ran a lot of the quick screen game, stuff like that, which Kansas City was like the best in for the last couple of years. I mean, back to Andy Reid's days in Philly, they were great in the screen game. The opposite side, Washington was one of the worst in screen game. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously this is great to have Bieniemy over here, and you hope that we can transition for something like that. But it does make you wonder, like, oh, is this going to happen overnight, or are we going to have to deal with some serious issues over time? You know what I mean?
Well, it certainly seems like, just like last year, the goal was to get a little bit more athletic along the line. And that just did not pan out. Those guys were just too old and too broken down. So it does seem like, Wiley's got a little bit more athleticism to get out there. Same with Gates. So they can work on some of those, like you just said, the RPOs, the screens, the wide receiver screen, just some of that smaller stuff to take the pressure off of a young quarterback and put him in high percentage situations, which can only help him.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So you pair this with some of the other guys, some of the older guys we had. Larson, as we know, we re-signed him. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But then you have the ability to kind of move these guys around. We know Cosmi, like we mentioned earlier, is going to be at guard, which is, I think, a great spot for him. Then you have the Wiley right next to him. So I'm excited about the prospects of this. Obviously, like I said, we're going to temper our expectations because we had this situation a year ago and it did not pan out. But, hey, notably different, like you said, a lot of what helps with the screen game is having those agile guards and tackles and like that. So hopefully this is what we have in store. Moving along down the list, and another position that there was dire need for, middle linebacker. Now, we'll discuss why I'm sad about this, but I'm excited about this guy. I'm excited. Cody Barton out of Seattle. We signed him just for a year, right? It wasn't.
I think so.
Yeah, it wasn't anything major, which I really like. This guy played behind Bobby Wagner. Okay, he's got a lot of ability. The scouts were just ranting and raving about his ability and what he can do. He's a converted safety. Smart, great football IQ. I'm excited to kind of see what he brings to the table, more so because there's not a lot of tread on those. There's not a lot of wear on those tires. You know, he has been behind one of the great middle linebackers of our time, for sure, in Bobby Wagner. So I'm really kind of hyped to see what he can bring to the table. And because he one of the things I like, he's what I've heard, very instinctive, especially when you're going downhill, when he's running downhill. Not the best in coverage and dealing with the pass and whatnot, but as far as knowing what's going on, he's dialed in. And that's one of the things we always said was with Holcomb or Mayo, we need somebody that's in the middle that's calling the plays so that we can have, Jamin Davis roaming free and kind of getting to the edge a lot more. So honestly, if sticking him in the position my buddy used to play for, who is no longer with us, we'll discuss that in a little bit. I like this. I like this because I really feel like with his leadership, you have the pedigree of playing behind a Bobby Wagner, so he's picked up a little bits and pieces there. This could be a pick that a lot of people aren't talking about, but I think this could be one of those moves where we're like, oh, okay, well, we're week 4, week 5. We're like, oh, wow, here we go. He plays the part. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's you were alluding to it right there. I think this is an under the radar signing. I love the fact, like you said, he's a converted safety. So the ability to run is going to be out there. So often what they're finding with some of these middle linebackers, while it's becoming a dinosaur position, is can they be a 3-down linebacker? Or the fact that, look at Washington, and we ran a 4-3 defense. I think they said 4 snaps overall in 2022. 4 snaps at 4-3. So you've got to be able to be more active and be able to play both the pass and run, or just be athletic and be able to run and fill. And this guy can. And I think it is going to, just like you said, he's going to come in and be the Mike. He's going to be able to give Jamin the opportunity to read and react and run. And that's what Jamin's let him use his athleticism. So I like it. I like the fact that we've added some pieces there. You and I both were so concerned about linebacker last year that we didn't address it. And we've started to address it now. So I think that's great. I like this pickup, even though if I don't know much about the guy, I like the idea behind it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, he's 6'2", 240, got that nice size, decently athletic. He's rangy, as far as he can get out. I'm kind of hyped about this because this is the first time I really feel like we're making a move to where this could help us. And see, it makes me feel even better about it because of the fact that we have Daron Payne we have Jonathan Allen and now Daron Payne signed, because, watching the videos and everything, and even Logan Paulson and John Kime were talking about it, and watching the videos for Seattle, that middle of that D line wasn't really helping him out. Wasn't doing him many favors because they were allowing the O-line get to the second level, and weren't really allowing him to see everything as clearly. Having that force that we have with the two of them in front of him, I mean, they'll clear that out. You know what I mean? And I really, if letting him roam, I think that's going to be even more beneficial for him and for us. So I think that's a great move. And then on top of that, we go to Minnesota and pick up Cam Dantzler. I've heard the name. I've watched him from time to time. This past year wasn't as great, but I don't know if this is the same Dantzler, but if I'm not mistaken, this is somebody that I wanted way back out of college. What do you know about this guy?
He came from Mississippi State.
Okay.
He was a teammate of Montez Sweat's.
Okay.
Back in 2019. Nice. Yeah, so this is a luxury signing because he can come in and be your number 3, number 4 corner, and he's got a bunch of starts under his belt. I think, up to 16, 17 starts in the last 3 years. He played against us in the game that we, when Minnesota came here, and he got a lot of playing time. I think we targeted him a little bit, but, it's more about the fact that we've got experienced depth, and we were really concerned about corners last year. The fact that we're writing out Rashad Wild Goose and all the other folks that we were running out there with not a lot of experience was a big concern for us. And so this is a luxury signing. It's not anything that I'm super, super excited about.
Right.
And I hope in a perfect world, he's not seeing the field a whole lot. I don't think this is going to prevent us from drafting a corner fairly high, because you still got to remember the fact that St. Juice has not been healthy through 2 seasons, and
Right.
Kendall Fuller's in the last year of his deal. So who knows what's going to happen to him next year. So I still want to target a corner high, but this is good depth along with, some of the re-signings we made. It's just add more pieces, add more opportunities. Let these guys duke it out in training camp and figure out who makes the 53.
Exactly. But I'm not going to lie. The very first thought I had was the last secondary player, corner position that we picked up was William Jackson III. That just didn't pan out. So,
yeah.
Hey, we're hoping for the best. But like you said, it's a luxury position. Hey, hopefully he can pan out. But we'll see. Again, we got him early. He'll get to know the players, get to know the coaches, and let's get this thing. I like that for us. We're getting everybody early. Mind you, it's the 15th of March. Normally, we're one of those teams that will wait till right around the draft, or even like we said last year, Ron Rivera said that free agent signing didn't start till after the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, wait, what? Did you still feel that way, Ron? I guess when your job is on the line, you don't feel that way. All right. So, hey, they're doing things kind of uncharacteristic as far as we're not picking up random superstars, or aging superstars.
And overpaying for them.
Yeah. And we're not waiting to the last minute. Now we're kind of getting all of our guys in-house. And as you know, the longer you have everybody in-house, the more guys you can figure out, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? So by the time training camp and OTAs and preseason gets here, we're not sitting here trying to figure out, okay, is this my 53, or do we need to pull it out of 53 and then cut 3 or 4 guys and then sign 2 more? You know what I mean? We kind of know where we're going. So I like that. And one more move that allows us to know that we are starting the great Sam Howell. And we gave him a backup. And I'm glad we got this guy. Okay? Jacoby Brissett, who most recently played with Cleveland and was the stopgap for Deshaun Watson, which, if you ask me, I would have kept Jacoby Brissett in the game, because he actually seemed like he had it together with those guys. He signed in Washington, and I could not be more ecstatic about this. You get veteran leadership. You get a great locker room guy. You get somebody that's been around multiple teams, yes, but each team that he's been around, he's had some semblance of success. He has been able to do, good decent in Cleveland. He was with the Patriots. He was with the Colts after Andrew Luck and all that stuff. He's been able to do decent with him. Each place he's been, he might not have succeeded at the end of the day, but he didn't make them look bad. It's almost like a little bit better of a Taylor Heinicke, a more polished, a more professional Taylor Heinicke. So I love this, and this to me says we're sticking with you, Sam Howell, but we do want somebody in here that's going to work with you and help you. And if it's taking longer for you to get it, we can put this guy in here. He knows the ropes. He can get us going until you're ready, if that ever comes. So, what do you think about us getting Jacoby Brissett, man?
I think you said it very, very well. And this year's quarterback market was a lot more normal versus last year. There was all these numbers being thrown around, and Mitch Trubisky's getting $12 million a year, and that was kind of a surprise to people. And Mariota's getting $8 million a year and stuff, or more. So you said it perfectly. I mean, he is a journeyman backup. He bounces from teams to teams, and this is what he does. But he's capable for a couple games of keeping things afloat if he needs to. He's capable if our essential rookie quarterback is not ready week 1. He could be. He has the chance to push the rookie quarterback a little bit in training camp, and he also has a chance to mentor him, and he knows what he's getting into. And so he knows if he doesn't get the starting job, he's not going to be surprised by it and boohoo on the sidelines. He's going to be there to help the rookie get ready and get, be set to go and mentor him. And so it is a really, really good signing. I saw something where they compared some of his numbers to Heinicke and Brissett's, and they were very, very similar. Yeah. But you and I know Taylor Heinicke is like 3 or 4 throws a game that really could have been picked off that somehow don't get picked off. So he's got the ability to have those numbers worse. They did sign him for a little bit more than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I didn't think they wanted to go as high as up to $8 million a year, but like you said, he fits the exact mold of what they were kind of looking for. A veteran who understands what is happening here, but what his opportunity could be. So I'm with you. I think it was a really good pickup.
I love it. I love it, and I understand it came at the casualty of your Will's favorite quarterback, Mr. Taylor Heinicke. And I will address this real quick because Kyle, you're wrong. He didn't go to a better team, but I will gladly give you those 1 or 2 interceptions a game, my friend. Okay, because he will be coming in there at one point for Ritter. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and you will see. Y'all are gonna love him for half the year, and then the other half the year, you're like, why? Why is he starter? Bless you. Oh, but you got my man sick. Taylor leaving has got my man sick. He can't even handle it.
I've been pretty devastated for the last day and a half. I'm not gonna lie.
Will. Let's go ahead and get into it. Look, is there anybody else? I know in the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at kind of where everything stands after the dust has settled. We know what's been going on in the NFC East. Giants, locking up Daniel Jones, Zeke leaving, but Gilmore coming to Dallas. And then the Eagles, I mean, geez Louise, Hardgrave, Miles Sanders, Darius Slay, just a bunch of guys, Kazir White, all these guys leaving and going elsewhere for the Eagles. Are we surprised?
I'm a little nervous that we need to keep doing some things. I'm not so sure we're keeping up with the Joneses right now, is what I'd say. If some of these teams, the Giants getting Darren Waller, if he stays healthy, that's going to be a weapon. So it's like we got some work to do. Like if Cam Dantzler's our last DB signing, that's a problem.
Right. So yeah, we definitely going to have to see what they're doing. We're gonna bring that to you in the next couple of weeks, just kind of see where, like I said, where all the dust is settled. But we need to move on. We need to move on because
we need to move on from some players.
We do. And since we alluded to it, I'm not going to sit here and do this right now. I'm going to give you your chance to talk about your guy really quickly. Taylor Heinicke made a name for himself against the GOAT. 2 years, he gave us the best that he had, the best that an ODU quarterback you can expect from that. And I salute you, my friend, for your service. However, you took a couple years off of my life. I will say that to you because there were some days that I stressed about your play. I tried to defend you to people. And then I had to argue with my buddy about how much once I was off the train, I had to try to help him get him off. Taylor is in Atlanta. Will, what are your thoughts, man?
We'll see if the voice can hold up. I got the shirt on.
There you go.
I got the shirt on. I got the Taylor Heinicke shirt.
Oh, there it is.
I will remember you. Will you remember me?
Let's go.
No, it did. I mean, I think because of Heinicke mania obviously swept over us the last 2.5 years, and it's been a really fun ride. It's a really great story, the fact that he was on his sister's couch, and now he's just got himself, paid. He's gotten paid by us. Now he got paid by the Falcons. I think it's a good situation for everyone. I think it's a great situation for him because just like you alluded to, that there's a chance he could come in and play for Desmond Ritter, whether injury or poor play, so he could get in there. And Falcons fans will see the good and the bad that you'll just get sucked into. I also think it's important, we've mentioned this before, there's a strong fan base in DC for Taylor Heinicke. And the last thing a rookie quarterback, I'm just going to keep calling Sam Howell a rookie. I don't think I can call him a second-year quarterback. But the last thing a young quarterback needs right now is the fans, the stadium wanting the backup. And they're not going to do that for Jacoby Brissett. They're not going to be wearing his jerseys there. Now, I will be wearing – I may get a Commander's Heinicke jersey when they go on sale now.
Oh, God.
I think I have to. But so I think it was good. I do. And it's like we know what he is. We also know that we wanted a quarterback to come in and push, mentor, and help Sam. And Heinicke couldn't do all three of those.
Yeah.
He could mentor him. Maybe he'd push him a little bit, but Ron wanted someone who could potentially be our starter week one if Sam's not ready. And Heinicke obviously could, but we've done that. We've done that for 2 years now. We win 7 and 8 games with him. He keeps us in the playoff hunt. But we've done that now. So we need somebody else in here. So it was a great decision by him. Obviously sad to lose the dude that he is. He's a great human being, but he's in a really good situation.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Chris, what's going on? Appreciate you joining us. Not sure they will lose anyone this year that will hurt as much as losing Brandon Sheriff last year. Yeah,
he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. I mean, we had to go spend it now this year because we didn't spend on him, and then we got hurt. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that was the fact that we did sign Payne. Had we lost him, I think that could have hurt that much. I mean, because Payne really established himself this year. And hey, right, we got paid, and rightfully so. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I gave my guy his time, and let me address Kat. Kat said I'm not wearing Tar Heel stuff. Just because your team is still in the tournament, Kat, you don't got to rub it into me. All right, I am wearing my Tar Heel stuff, and this is Sam Howell Tar Heel jersey. Let's get it. But for me, you know what it is, Will. I messaged you as soon as I heard. Sydney, I messaged you as soon as I heard. Cole Holcomb. He is no longer a Washington Commander. All of those years that he gave us, I will say this, Cole, brother, they didn't believe in you when you came out of North Carolina. They didn't even know your name. They didn't think you were fast enough and strong enough and quick enough and everything, but you gave them your heart. You gave them your ability. 100-plus tackles a year. You did everything you could for the team. You weren't the fast enough. You weren't the fastest, no. Or the strongest, no. But you were the toughest. You were one tough SOB. And my guy, I appreciate everything you brought to us. But I will say, might be a little better off without, especially with the injury from this last year. It stresses me out to think about, where we were going to go before I knew that he was let go. But once I saw the direction we went in and then how they went there, I can only say shout out to him because I think he's going to be good over there in Pittsburgh. I think he's going to be around some good coaches and he might not be that star stud player, but he's going to be an integral part in a team that could go far, So.
Yeah, no, I think it's another situation where the player picked a good spot for him. My only concern about it was they said this past year Cole put on more weight to be a middle linebacker. And they said he was a little bit slower. He wasn't as impactful as he was when he was playing outside. And I believe Pittsburgh was signing him to play inside. So if they want him to be, a little bit thicker the way he was, he may not be the same. But he was a very good player for us. It was a great selection by Jake Rudin, getting him in the 5th round. He surpassed expectations with what he did. He's a good player, but I think a 5th round linebacker can be replaced. We can replace 100 tackles if we really, really need to. And so what the difference in this was, it wasn't about did they want to keep him. It was Cole had an idea of what he wanted. Washington wanted to pay him less, and they weren't able to connect. And so he went elsewhere. They said, well, give yourself a chance. And what you saw with Pittsburgh was they ignored the injury of last year and said, we know what you've done before that. You've been a productive player. We're going to pay you for those previous years, not for you coming off the injury like we had talked about could potentially make him cheaper. He got his money. We don't know the specifics, I don't think, yet, but he got more than what Washington was going to be willing to pay him. It's good for him.
And more power to him, man. I'm glad he was able to parlay all of that into another contract and in a great team. And I think they can really use him. Like you said, it's beneficial to him. What is going on, Anton? See y'all being creative, man. We trying to do something, man. We trying to do something over here. I will move on to this real quick. Anton, the guy that you're very familiar with, J.D. McKissic, is no longer on the team. Unfortunately, Will, he failed. It was the medical test. He wasn't cleared to play, and it's probably back to that neck, man. I can't say we didn't see this coming. We kind of talked about it through this year, especially after he got hurt. And then coming into this offseason, this was definitely a move that we thought was going to be made. And they did it sooner than later.
They did. They did it sooner than I thought they were going to. And I think it has to do, just like you said, is that neck injury that he hurt the previous year in 2021. And because he was so dynamic in 2020, he was fantastic for us with 80 catches and a weapon out of the backfield. He was being a weapon again in 2021. Then he got hurt. He came back. He wasn't as much of a being used in 2022, and then he got hurt again, and it kind of stems from that. And so it's you don't know if this, because it's a neck injury, what that's going to do for the rest of his career. If this is going to kind of be the time that he has to bow out. So we are getting less and less touches. So it's like, I like the dude. I don't think it's really going to impact the team that much the way things were going. But you certainly, he was a fan favorite of ours.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a fan favorite. And the only part, because like I said, I think we both saw this coming, but the only part that kind of it makes me feel for the guy is because we got to remember this time last year, he had one foot out the door. The Bills are ready to pay this man to come to Buffalo, and he would have had a much better season with them. I mean, barring the injury. We don't know if he would have got injured or not. But then he decided to stick around here, and then obviously he played third fiddle, man. With Robinson and Gibson taking the majority of the roles. And then once he got hurt, obviously Jonathan Allen got in the picture.
Jonathan Williams,
sorry about that.
I'd love to put Big Boy back there and let him run.
Right? But Jonathan Williams, once he got in the picture, it just, McKissic just kind of fell back. And a lot of what McKissic did a couple of years ago, he was really good because of the fact that we did not have Curtis Samuel because of injury. Yes. So once Curtis Samuel came back, he was the guy running a lot of that motion, a lot of that runs out of the backfield. So it kind of almost took away, McKissic's role in the offense. And you hate to see it, but at the same time, it's the business. That's just what it is. Here's
what's indicative of his season. Do you remember like halfway through the season, you go, hey, Will, Sousa's 23 out there. I was like, that's McKissic. He changed his number. And you're like, I had no idea. That's how little impact he had on the 2022 season.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, who is this guy? Just random dude.
What is D'Angelo Hall doing out here?
Right. Is he back? Oh, man. So, yeah. Hey, so we lost those three guys. Is there anybody else that you see? Obviously.
Not yet. Not as of I stopped looking at 6 p.m. So if we've cut anybody, I am surprised they haven't done anything with Chase Roulier, especially if you're going to sign Nick Gates. That kind of seems surprising to me. So maybe there's still something coming down there. But that's about it.
What John and I, you listened to it. John Keim was talking, and Logan Paulson was saying more that, I mean, with exactly what we mentioned last week, with the 2 season-ending injuries, and then now us getting Gates and starting to solidify that line. I mean, he could come back, but he's gonna have to. They're gonna have to get it at a reduced rate. I mean, it's not gonna be, maybe the same as what they have been doing as far as paying him. So, I mean, we know what he can do on the line when healthy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's see what that happens. We'll definitely keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, well, it's weird because I'm wondering where is there space for him and what contract what contract is he willing to take if he's supposed to make $12 million this year, not start.
Right.
What contract is this guy going to be willing to take?
Yeah. So this should be interesting. So we'll monitor that and keep kind of an eye on that and just kind of see what ends up happening, where it goes. But hey, for the first week. And today actually at 4:00 was the first official, when everything kind of went through as far as free agent signings. I'm pretty excited about what we've done thus far. I mean, we're actually addressing certain parts that we need to, and we're taking care of guys that, we re-signed them, guys that we had last year, but they know the system. So you got a little bit of the flavor from before that can kind of teach the other guys the way. And then you got some new, fresh talent in here. And then you got happy players. You got guys in our D-line that just got paid the last couple of years. And then who knows what this can do for Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Now you see that 2 of your line mates in Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen both got paid. Maybe they start playing to the point where we can't deny it and we have to play them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the best case scenario, but we will definitely see.
Yep.
Definitely see. Oh yeah, buddy. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a little breather, and we will be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Buddy, you know who it is, your boy Sean Spencer, or my guy Will Kramer. We appreciate you joining us here on Washington Football Weekly. And something I completely forgot to mention, but we'll do it right now. We did re-sign some guys. I had just actually alluded to it a little bit ago. Danny Johnson at corner, Jeremy Reeves, our Pro Bowler, and he got a couple All-Pro votes for special teams. Absolutely love that. And then what just happened today, Tyler Larsen. So we're talking about the line. We've got Tyler Larsen back. I mean, all of these things are just saying, like I just mentioned, we're making moves in the right direction. We're getting the pieces that we know are good and that worked and that we can rely on, and then adding some new pieces, man. So is this a surprise to you at all, these three guys coming back?
No, I think they all kind of seem like guys that the team was going to want to bring back. They do know the system, and so it makes a lot of sense. They're good depth pieces. The Tyler Larsen coming back now that we've got a center, it just continues to be like, well, what are you going to do with Chase Roulier? Because now you got a guy who is making too much money. You've signed a starting center. That's his backup. You probably need to draft someone to be Larsen's backup. That's, not the Schweitzer coming over, someone who actually knows center very, very well. So you kind of need to be preparing that since Larsen has gotten hurt the last 2 seasons. So it's good to have him, but you got to have a contingency plan for him. Yep. There's one other guy that we signed a little bit later this afternoon. We brought back defensive lineman F.A. Obata.
Hey, you going to tell your dad joke?
Yeah, and now I know a whole lot more about him.
Put him up. There you go. That's the full gamut of humor we have on here on Washington Football Weekly. All right.
Pretty sad.
Let's go. Yo, and he's another one that he made some key plays last year for us and definitely filled in at the absence of Chase Young. Now he's also the one in that Dallas game that when they blocked the kick, he had an opportunity to pick it up, but kind of went lackadaisical. That could have changed the entire game.
Yeah.
Not bitter. I just need to tell you.
You haven't forgotten that one.
Yeah. So Janae doesn't let me forget that one. Okay.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
We're gonna go there. No, but
just a reminder of all the tugs of jerseys.
Yep. All the times they interfered with our guy and the refs came out and said that. I need that official press release.
Yep.
I'm gonna send that to her. Yeah. So this goes along with what we've been doing, re-signing guys that been playing well for us. I'm excited about it, and I'm glad we ended up doing this because this is smart. This is absolutely smart. Getting guys in, they know the culture. They played under Ron. We're putting our best foot forward. I can't emphasize this enough that I like the direction that we're going in. I'm surprised because normally we do have to wait, and we're constantly pressing refresh, and it's nothing. Yeah. We're seeing all these other teams doing it, and now it's like, by the time I read one thing, another thing came out, and it's like, oh, we signed this guy. Oh, this guy came. I'm like, hold up, guys. Chill, calm down. You know what I mean? But I love it. We're making smart moves. Time will tell, but it seems like we're making smart moves and doing the right thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, hey, all right. So we re-signed them, but we did, unfortunately, make another move. And it looks like our O-line coach, John Matsko, was fired. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of you that don't know outside of Washington, John Matsko has literally I don't believe he gets the necessary credit for the job that he's been doing in Washington over the last couple of years. Talked about Roulier having season-ending injuries the last couple of years. Obviously, Sheriff got hurt 2 years ago or whatever. He was with us. And Larsen, all these guys have been getting hurt and coming in. We've had one of the reasons why in both the last two 53-man mocks, I say we need 14 linemen is because I know we most likely lose 2 to 3 guys a year for a significant amount of time. And John Matsko had helped to take care of all of that. So obviously towards the end of the year, we didn't know what was happening. Once he stayed with the team, it was kind of like, okay, well, hey, that's one place that we weren't concerned about. We knew he can work with it. And apparently as the offseason has gone and, Bieniemy is in there, apparently they've been talking and the word that's out, quote unquote, it was philosophical differences. As we know, Matsko and what we've been running, a lot of running offense, a lot of grinded out type stuff. But then Eric Bieniemy has a lot of the West Coast. And, it just makes you wonder what was it that was so different, especially because it didn't happen like right when Bieniemy got there, then he left. It was a while later. So you're already thinking, okay, let's move on to the future. And then now all of a sudden he's coming. So what do you think? I mean, the timing of this all is crazy, but just he's the one guy that don't want to leave. Like, what's up?
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to stay, but I can't stand the timing of it. You said it. Matsko, Bieniemy's bringing in a West Coast style. Matsko has never coached that. Matsko has also only been Ron's offensive line coach from Carolina and here. This is the only guy he's ever had. So it shows a little bit. It signals that Ron has turned over the keys of the offense to Eric Bieniemy. And I also kind of anticipated. I mean, Matsko is 71 years old. How many more years is this guy going to coach? And so I kind of figured, Bieniemy's brought in a new quarterbacks coach, wide receivers coach, and you kind of had an idea that he was going to do something with the offensive line. But the timing, I think, is terrible because he's been there a month. We've now gone through the combine. Senior Bowl Senior Bowl had already happened, but we've gone through the combine. They were talking about offensive linemen at this, on free agent targets. So if Bieniemy was the one leading who I want to sign, there's no reason to be having this offensive line coach that wasn't going to mesh with who you wanted to sign and how you wanted to run the offense. So I don't understand the timing why this took so long. And I wish they would have done it sooner. And I do believe, though, that Bieniemy has somebody in mind, whether it's promoting the guy from within or if he's got someone he wants to bring in. I don't think this was made out of emotion of anything when it comes to philosophical differences. I think it was this is the way I coach, this is the way I want the team to go, and we are not meeting in the middle, we are not meshing, we are two parallel lines, and so we need to go separate.
Yeah. And one of the other problems could potentially be, I mean, Matsko, you talk about his age, and likewise, he was excellent with veterans. He was great with the veteran guys, and one of the things that came out is not necessarily he couldn't get with the younger guys, but he just knew how to work with vets. He knew how to get some of the older guys, and like the guys that we had, he knew how to work with them and help them to stay healthy, help them to stay on the field. And largely right now we have a young team. I mean, yeah, we got, a couple guys here and there that have played a couple more years, but for the most part, you got a young quarterback, two young running backs, young pieces on the line, the wide receivers. Like, we have a young team. So that could have been something that really kind of played into this part. I don't know. It makes you wonder, man.
Well, you said it, though, at the very beginning. He's one of the better offensive line coaches that people don't know about. And I think everyone in Washington understands that you can't put the struggles of the offensive line last year on him. No one is blaming him for those struggles. They're blaming Ron and the Martys for assembling a poor offensive line. Because like you said, he really has had to patch things together for 3 years now where we've had some injuries. Yeah. And that 2020 season and even through 2021, he did a remarkable job with it. And then last year, it's just we did not have the pieces. We did not have the horses needed in the race.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So you alluded to it earlier. Some of the guys that were kind of on the list as potential replacements. Obviously, there's Cody Barton, our assistant line coach. I know a lot of people have been talking Juan Castillo, tight end coach, and he coached Oline under Andy Reid when he was at Philly. This is a huge move. We had to sit here and do it. You talk about the timing and how it was after the combine, after a lot of key moments. We need, and everything else we've done, it's been early, getting it done quick. This should have been done. You know what I mean? So it really kind of makes you wonder who we're going to bring in, because we have a new offensive coordinator, as we've seen, a new quarterbacks coach, Bobby Ingram, new wide receivers coach. You know what I mean? And now we're going to need a new offensive line coach. Those things have to mesh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I loved what you said about, Coach Rivera. He's giving up the reins. It makes you wonder why it took you so long. But, it's kind of like, these guys all have to mess. So it makes you think, who are they bringing in? Who do you think they're bringing in?
Right. Yeah. And I have no idea which route they're going. I'm actually hoping it's someone we don't know. I love Travell Wharton. He actually played here at South Carolina, and he was there down at the Senior Bowl, and there's a lot of praise for him, but he's also pretty young. I would love for Bieniemy to kind of have that. I know somebody somewhere else that I can bring in that's going to help me with my offense. So that's my wish, that it's not going to be a Juan Castillo moving over. It's going to be, this is someone that from Bieniemy's coaching trails that he's been on to come in.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And we'll address this a little bit ago. Anton said, do you think it's because our own line is not being functional till the middle of the year, the last 2 years? We haven't been able to start the first 4 games both season. I mean, I think Will said it. I mean, we didn't have the horses. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, he was making do with what we had. So part of that was the reason why. I mean, we just didn't have the right pieces. Once Sheriff left, that was a huge hole. And Trey Turner and Andrew Norwell just did not fill it at all. Like, didn't even, we thought we were getting a little discount in both of them, and we got the discounted version, and it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So, that's what it is. But it does. This is the crazy part, because it's like, that's the one thing we've been able to hold on to. Him and Heinicke, they've been here. We've known that they've done the best job they can, and now it's kind of like,
it's schemes. The schemes have changed.
Yeah,
we're going West Coast. That's not what he can. That's not his specialty.
Yeah,
I see this as a positive. I know he's a great coach, but I see it as a positive.
Yeah, this is my fan side. This is my side that don't leave.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, yeah. So hey, he was let go. So stay tuned, because we're gonna be keeping our ear to Twitter, keeping our ear to ESPN. Washington.com, all those things, to try to figure out who's going to be the next in charge. What connection does he have to Bieniemy? Because that's obviously kind of looks like the direction we're going. Yeah. And hey, where do we go from here? But all in all, thus far, I'm excited about what's going on in Washington.
Small steps, small improvement steps.
Oh yeah. Now we did notice that Lamar was signed to a non-exclusive.
Well, he looks really good in our colors. I'm just gonna say those photoshops people do. Lamar looks sharp in our uniforms.
And I noticed you've been constantly putting them in a certain group chat. Somebody's fuming in the background. I know that.
I troll sometimes. It's just kind of fun.
Oh man, yo. So hey, we will definitely see how it all plays out. There's a lot more moves that are still to be made. And for once, I'm glad we're not in the big picture. We're not in the Derek Carr conversation, or the Lamar Jackson, or even the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, any of that craziness. Yeah, no.
Just imagine this, man. Just think about this. You're going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and your only option is to finish your career with the GD New York Jets.
Yep.
God.
Yep. Well, Aaron, I hope all's well. And look, and I got to say, man, there's a lot of people that have said he's going to have a stacked team out there. They're going to have to give up an arm, a leg, an appendix, an ear, an eye, a whole bunch of stuff to get this man. I don't think it's going to be this powerhouse that everybody thinks.
Well, there's something have to do with the contract, though, where it's not going to be like 3 first-round picks because of the contract that he's going to have. So that lessens the trade value. But my thing is, Aaron, you're not going to get to play the Chicago Bears and Detroit Lions 4 times a year now.
There it is.
Like, you're not the best team in the division.
No.
And now and then when you do make the playoffs, now you got to go through the AFC. You got to go through Patrick Mahomes. Good luck. Welcome to what the reality is that everyone else has been having. Not up there in that NFC least of the North right there. Like, joke.
You're not going to get a cakewalk to the playoffs like you've been doing every single year.
You don't get six division wins every year.
Right. Well, we're not diminishing the man's ability. He can ball. No. We all know that. We're not diminishing his talent and everything like that. But let's be honest. The Bears have been terrible. Shout out to the Lions trying to make it, but they still only won 3 or 4 games a couple years back. And last year they're moving up, and we know any Kirk Cousins led team, he's going to get you in big numbers. But we saw what happened in the wild card playoff. You know what I mean? So you're not getting that anymore. You're getting the Josh Allens, you're getting Bill Belichick, and whoever he rolls out there, and then you're getting a Miami team that is not lacking in any position
with Wonder Boy coach.
Come on now. You're going to have to throw to Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard. You're going to have to throw up against that Bills defense. Woo! Yeah. 2023 is going to be an interesting year, ladies.
It really is. That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad you are here to join us on Washington Football Weekly this Wednesday, March the 15th. The free agency is in full effect. The offseason is in full effect. We're about a month and a half away from the draft. I know y'all that are like me, that are in pain because it's only March. You're worried. Season's going to be here soon enough. Don't get it twisted. Once the draft comes, it's all downhill towards the season. It'll be here quick enough, and we'll be complaining about this or that in the near coming future. But as for right now, we're Washington Football Weekly. And, hey, we're just glad to be talking some football, man.
Yep.
So, look, for me, your boy Sean Spencer, my guy, Mr. Will Kramer from South Carolina, home of the best ladies basketball team in the country, undefeated. Have they lost yet?
Mm-mm. Friday starts. The run starts Friday.
Oh, to the back-to-back.
We got a good squad.
Look, if Ron doesn't work out, and Eric doesn't work out, we need to go ahead and call Dawn Staley and tell her to come on up to Washington because she could coach some of our guys.
Yeah.
Yo, let's get it. Love you too, Anton. Yes, sir.
Very kind of him. Sir. Very kind of him.
Yo. So, hey, look.
I got to go look on Fanatics here to see if we got any Heinicke jerseys on discount yet.
Look, they're discounting them. They're in the RG3 bin. Just look. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to head out of here. We appreciate you being here with us. Stay tuned for what we bring to the table. Also, in about 10, 15, 20 minutes, stay tuned. NFC North Takeover will be here soon. Eric, you in the comments? What's up, Eric? What happened to Will Kramer never wearing Commander's gear?
I do have one hat. I have one hat. I know. It pains me.
Yes. Hey, I got my Sam Howell, but that's because I just want to get him in whatever I can get it in. Whatever jersey I can get him in, I wanted it.
Yeah.
Yo. So, hey, appreciate you hopping in here, Eric. And, hey, hope all is well. So, yeah, I'm Sean Spencer, my guy, Will Kramer. We will see you. Sad and disappointed. We will see you guys next time. All right, guys. Take care.